I'm just gonna hit record and then... Welcome to our obligatory 1K Q&A video, because that's what everyone does when they hit 1K subscribers. I'm Will, and this is Jess.
Hello.
Hi, Jess is never in videos because she's shy. We got about 25 people on Twitter and Facebook to ask us some questions, and we're going to run through them. The questions are generally about travel, or books, or us as people in some way, us as a couple. Alright, we'll take turns. I'm going to start.
Okay.
I'm going to start only because the first person who asked a question, I think they are German, and I'm not sure how to pronounce their name, so I'll embarrass myself instead of you embarrassing yourself.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, you're welcome. So this question is from Micah, and Micah asked, have you actually lived in Japan, Korea, or China? Yes.
We lived in all three. We lived in China first, and then Korea, and then Japan. And yeah, Japan's the one we go back the most to.
Yes, yeah, Japan is our hub, you know, if you like. Obviously right now we're in the UK because of COVID, but we were supposed to be in Japan right now. We were supposed to be in Japan last year, but... So yes, we have lived in all three. And Micah also asked, are you fluent in those languages? No.
I learn Korean, Will learns Japanese.
Yeah.
But we are not fluent by
Not
any
at all.
stretch.
No, we are not
We
fluent.
try.
No, we both learned some Chinese when we lived in China.
Yeah.
I'm a perpetual student of Japanese. I study it constantly, but because I'm not there, I never actually get any better. I'm like somewhere between beginner and intermediate. Conversational, I don't know, but I'm rusty as hell. So
And living in Korea, I sort of hit the books hard, and then since then haven't really.
it's hard when you're not there.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's your answer. Yes, we have lived in all three, and we're supposed to be going back to Japan when the world is fine.
Yeah. This one is from my oldest friend, Lizette. So she asked, what's your favourite or most interesting food you've eaten on your travels? I think this is a really good one because it kind of started off a love for East Asian cuisine and just kind of branching out in that area of food, which was when we arrived in Shanghai. We had someone to kind of take us under his wing. James, he was kind of looking after us.
He was a new colleague of
Yeah.
ours, and he'd been living there for a while, and he was changing jobs.
Yeah, so he took us out for a Chinese barbecue, and at that point, that was just completely, we'd never seen anything like it, and it was just great. We were all sat around the table together and communally barbecuing your food together.
Yeah, I kept asking him what this was and what, and he said, like, as a rule in China, here's the thing, eat the thing.
Yeah, don't ask questions, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And like, it is a really good philosophy.
It really is. You
Yeah.
can't really be vegetarian or vegan or gluten-free or anything in China.
And have
you
that philosophy.
Yeah, you kind of have to just go for it. You have to put everything aside while you're there and just eat whatever is
Because the
put in
food's
front of
so
you.
good. And I think bao, it would be wrong not to mention
course,
bao.
yeah,
Even I think bao will come up a lot in this.
Yeah, we get asked a lot why our site and our channel are called Books and Bao, and it's because when we lived in China, we pretty much survived off
Eating
bao,
bao,
like
yeah.
baozi and xiaolong bao.
They were so cheap and so good, and you could just
They're
grab them
everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah, and so and
Yeah, we ate a lot of dumplings that year. Yeah, the name of the blog came because we were eating bao in a Korean restaurant in
Seoul.
In Itaewon? In Seoul?
Yeah, in Itaewon, yeah.
Eating bao, and I was like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if we called it Books and Bao?
Yeah.
Not knowing it would become our whole thing, and maybe it wasn't the best name, but I like it.
I don't know. It's like, it's catchy, and the
Yeah,
idea,
it's
the
memorable.
philosophy works because it's East Asian fiction,
Yeah.
and it's East Asian food and culture, so it
Yeah.
still works.
Like a lot of people who blog, you never know that you're going to carry it on long term.
Yeah,
So-
it was a hobby and now
Yeah.
it's our job. Next question, Jen O'Donnell, who is a Japanese to English translator based in Osaka. She asked, do you have a favourite translator of all the translated books that you've read? Yes, I think I do.
Ah, you go first then.
I think I can confidently say Stephen Snyder. Stephen Snyder translated pretty much all the books of Yoko Ogawa. I did a video on her recently.
It was smooth having that to hand.
Yeah.
Didn't
it's
even
good,
plan
wasn't it?
that.
No, it's the only Ogawa book I've got with me as well, but he translated all of her books. He also translated this, Out by Natsuo Kirino, one of my favourite Japanese books. So he is one of my favourite translators. He's probably my favourite translator. And it's either because he's that good or because most of the books that he translates just happen to be favourites of mine. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not so smooth to have one to hand. Like, I do think I do gravitate towards Sora Kim Russell, the Korean translator, Korean to English. I feel like she's the queen.
She's the queen of, I mean, for us, she's the queen of Korean
Yeah,
translation. She translated Pyun Hye-young's books, and
Yeah.
she's my favourite Korean author.
It's almost like a guaranteed great book if she's translated it. I think her taste is also part of it. Oh, Eric is part of a duo of digital nomads from the Wandering Ravens channel. They are lovely people. So
We appeared in one of their videos recently
Yes,
when we
in
went
Cambridge.
to Cambridge together, so I'll link to that.
he asked, what is your least favourite city?
Brussels.
Yeah, it is. It is Brussels.
I feel terrible saying this because
We like every place. We're not very fussy travelers.
Yeah.
We find something good in everything. So
yeah, we go to a city and I say this is my new favorite city.
yeah, we don't go anywhere with the idea that we might hate it in mind. I don't know if anyone does, but
No, that would be weird.
Brussels has been really mean to us.
Yeah, and like we are, we're anti-Brexit, pro-Remain, we love the EU,
So
etc.
The first time we arrived, we were like, "Wow, this is the seat of
Yeah.
European Parliament."
This is the European. This is the place we're trying to hold on to. Oh, it's shit. It's
because
awful.
both times we've been near Brussels. Within, I'd say, like 10 minutes, we've almost been robbed or been robbed.
We've been robbed.
We've been robbed. Yeah.
We've been pickpocketed and burgled.
Yeah.
Twice.
The first time my passport went missing, which was a huge thing and caused a lot of trouble, considering we were only like a bit of water away from home.
Yeah.
And the second time it was me again, so I do think maybe this is my fault. I don't know.
I still blame Brussels.
Was my laptop and tablet,
And your tablet, yeah.
which everyone helped me get back very quickly. So that was the story.
We were in The Hague during the summer when COVID was at its quietest moment, so we went to The Hague for a month. And on our way back, we had to get the train through Brussels. Someone hopped on, went through Jess's bag, and hopped off with all of her stuff. And I immediately set up a GoFundMe, and through Twitter and through all of our friends...
Thank you. If you donate.
Yeah, our friends donated about £800 and you got a new laptop.
Yeah.
Within
so
2 hours.
It was such a happy ending to such a terrible day.
It was like, it restored my faith in
And also,
humanity.
like, we were in Brussels for like a solid week first time because we were house sitting there.
Yeah.
And apart from like the pretty gothic centre, we kind of didn't mesh with the city.
Didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Kind of bored.
But we went to Bruges and,
Bruges.
and it was great. So
Yeah, Bruges is great.
This is a Brussels problem, not
Yeah,
a Belgium problem.
we don't hate Belgium.
Yeah.
We hate Brussels.
They have chips with mayo.
So yeah,
Belgian fries.
Brussels is the one,
Yeah,
the city we've hated the most.
I'd have to agree. I didn't mesh with Manila very well.
No.
Because I love the Philippines. Like I try and go back as much as I can.
Yeah.
But-
you've been twice.
Yeah.
Go to the Philippines.
Yes.
Don't go to Manila. That's
Yeah,
our
yeah.
tip. That's our hot tip.
Because Philippines is great.
Next question is from Alyssa Pearl. Alyssa's a follower of ours on Twitter and she writes for Unseen Japan, which is an awesome website. And Alyssa asked, how many hours a day do you spend reading? Yeah, well, I mean, I do all the reviews. I do all of our book reviews.
So you've got to be quite strict about how much reading you do every day.
Yeah, I would say I spend 3 or 4 hours a day reading.
And for me, I am the most unreliable kind of reader, which is why Will does the reviews, in that I will maybe power through 3 books in 2 days and then not read for a month. I go through kind of phases very quickly. I currently got about 8 books on the go.
Yeah.
Not finishing any of them.
That freaks me out. I read one book at a time.
I get through about 2 or 3 books a month, but that may have been in a day or 2, or it may have been the whole month.
I'm a really slow reader.
It was like that time I got up at 6 randomly because I'm a late sleeper and Will was still asleep, and then by the time he came down I'd read 2 books and he was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck are you doing?
That was weird. And Jess hadn't picked up a book in 2 months and
Yeah.
then suddenly had a stack of finished books by 9 a.m.
Frank.
Oh, Frank.
Frank. Frank is an old friend that you knew from Japan.
Yeah.
Then he lived with us in Bristol, UK, and then he followed us to Korea.
Yeah.
And he's still in Korea.
We've
so-
lived and worked with Frank in 3 countries by
Yeah.
accident.
Yeah, it was not
And-
planned. It's not like he was actually following us.
Yeah, and Frank has also written for our site. He's written a few
Yeah.
things for Books and Bow.
So he came up with a gem of a question. Books or bow?
Books or Bow?
I love my food.
Yeah, Jess
I mean,
is the foodie.
ultimately, it would be bow.
And it would be books. We really should call ourselves Books and Bow.
Yeah,
I mean, we are Books and Bow. Books and Bow. There you go, Frank.
There
I
you
bet
go.
you didn't think we were actually going to answer that because it's a stupid question, but we did.
We did, yeah.
You're welcome, Frank. Next one is from Jeff.
Ah, Jeff.
Jeff's a friend of ours from Washington State, and he worked with you in
Yeah,
Seoul.
he was my colleague in the hagwon I was working in Seoul.
Don't
Yeah.
work for Hagwons.
No, don't work for hagwons. Yeah, we worked together for a whole year, and
Jeff's a laugh.
Jeff's a laugh. So, what did
Nice
Jeff
guy.
ask?
Current top of your travel list that you've never been to. So where we want to go next that we've never been.
South America,
Yeah.
probably Argentina.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll say the same.
God,
Argentina.
I'd love to go. Haven't even gone there, and we've heard so many good things about Argentina. We've been reading a lot of Argentinian literature, which always inspires.
Yep, you might have seen my video where I just went crazy about Charco Press, who are a publisher who just published Latin American fiction, and so much of it comes out of Argentina. Like, Argentina has the best writers, so we want to go there.
Also, Nepal is like been
yeah.
top of my list for basically my whole life.
So yeah, Argentina
Yeah,
is, if I had to pick one.
and Nepal.
And Nepal, yeah.
And
there you go.
India.
Yeah, and India. We haven't been to India,
No.
which is crazy. Oh, and Jeff's second question.
Oh yeah. Current top of your travel list that you have been to before that obviously you'd like to go to again.
Japan.
I mean, yeah.
It's always
we
Japan.
do miss Japan.
Like, I would live in Japan permanently. So.
Yeah.
And-
Actually, no, I really miss China.
Yeah.
There's a lot we didn't get round to. I'd love to go to Chengdu.
Yes.
So much. And Xi'an. We didn't get around to either of those.
We need to travel all around Sichuan province.
Yeah.
for sure. So China's definitely up there.
Yeah.
Always.
But it's obviously it's the kind of place you do have to go to a few times if you want to do it justice.
Yeah, actually, US is up there as well.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many cities we haven't been to in the US. I want to go to
Yeah.
Chicago.
San Francisco.
San Francisco. I've been to San
good.
Francisco,
Yeah.
yeah. So the US is up there, actually.
It is.
Next question is from Tristan. Tristan
yeah.
is a dear friend of ours through Twitter that we haven't actually met in real life yet.
Sad times.
Hopefully we'll meet him soon when the world goes back to normal.
Come
but
back, world. I miss you.
Tristan's a translator of Japanese books and manga based in Tokyo. And he asked, do you remember the first book that made you cry?
I'm a stone, so I'm not going about crying at many books. I think of a book that emotionally affected me was Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Obviously, I was a Potterhead prior to all the news recently, which has definitely tainted it.
Fuck turfs.
Yeah, but Sirius Black dying was pretty an emotional one for me because I really loved the idea of Harry having this kind of uncle figure who would just come in, and obviously he didn't have parents, and like my family is, it can be a bit patchy, not very close. Yeah, I always liked this idea that you could have this wonderful uncle and he'd step in and he'd be your new dad. Him dying was quite an emotional scene. Wasn't done justice in the films. I'm not encouraging you to go read Harry Potter at this point, but it's better in the book.
For me, it's the end of The Ember Spyglass. I've made a few videos about how I was quite late as a reader, my journey as a bookworm, and that journey really started with His Dark Materials, and the end of The Ember Spyglass destroyed me. I cried for about an hour. Oh, next one's your sister.
Yes, my sister Iman, and she asked a controversial question. Lord of the Rings or Star Wars?
Nice and simple.
I know, I think it's difficult.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Star Wars. So I haven't read Lord of the Rings, and I haven't read any Star Wars books. So this is purely based on the films and TV shows if there are TV shows.
Yeah, so I am also obsessed with Star Wars. But I do think we watched both series very recently, so this is actually really fresh. I don't think a single Star Wars film comes close to how good each Lord of the Rings film is.
Yeah. They're arguably the best made films.
They're so tight, and
like
the messages are so good, and everything is so good about them. The acting, the music.
Yeah. It's
direction.
It's how epic they feel.
Yeah, but
Nothing feels like that.
the world of Star Wars is so fun that I will choose Star Wars over it just because I like revisiting it so much, and there's so much more to enjoy and like pick apart and talk about with friends. Yeah.
Obviously the fan base shouldn't factor into your decision, but Lord of the Rings fans are a lot more wholesome. Star Wars fans are horrible people.
They get a bit heated.
Vicious, scary people. I would say Star Wars is my whole life. I worship Star Wars. Even when it's bad, I still like it. Star Wars fans are gluttons for punishment because so much Star Wars stuff is actually really bad, but you still love it. So.
She asked another one.
Oh, she did, yeah.
She said, "What are you reading right now?" So I'm actually reading. I've got them right here. I'm reading 2 books on tea because I'm writing an article about tea currently. I would definitely recommend this one actually, Infused by Henrietta Lovell. And it's her adventures going around the world collecting just teas from different countries, and her story because she set up a London tea company called Rare Tea Company. It's a travel book, but focused around tea, and she's educating you a lot about tea as it's going.
For me, I'm actually not reading anything translated. I know, for an upcoming video, I decided to read 2 books that I had on me. So I'm reading 2 books about dragons. I'm reading 2 fantasy novels. One is Samantha Shannon's Priory of the Orange Tree.
Are you finally getting around to that?
Exactly, yeah, because it's massive, and so I always can't find the energy, and I found the energy. And the other one is Evan Winter's Rage of Dragons, and I thought, ooh, dragons are back in fantasy, so I'm reading both of these so I can do a video on them. So far, they're both excellent. Priory of the Orange Tree is exactly as good as I hoped it would be.
January's a great month for fantasy.
For sure.
It's so depressing.
So dark and sad.
It's like, can it be anywhere else right now?
Exactly. So the next question is from a wonderful person who follows us on Twitter. We talk to him quite a lot, and because he's based in Switzerland, I actually don't know how to pronounce his name. And we've talked for years on Twitter, and now I have to say his name out loud, and I think it's Yago. Jago. I think it's Yago. If it isn't, I'm sorry. But Yago asked, will there be a video of you 2 making bao?
I told you bao would come up a lot.
Yeah, I think we have to do that. We have to do it. We should do more food videos.
We do not even have an article about bao, which...
Isn't that fucking funny?
I feel like that's my fault. I do the food stuff.
We have a lot of good food articles, and we've got some guest writers who've done great food stuff.
Yeah, we have no articles about bao, and no video of us making bao. Even though I bought that cookbook recently about bao.
Yep.
What is wrong with us?
I know.
We should rectify that. Okay.
So yeah, this was Yago's idea, and yes, we will absolutely do that. Yago also asked, you clearly like Japanese literature. How about Japanese films? Well, other than Akira Kurosawa, I don't think I've ever watched a Japanese film that isn't animated.
You do watch a lot of animated
Yeah,
Japanese films, though.
I'm a big weeb. I'm a big anime fan. Yeah, if you count animated films, then like A Silent Voice, Kimi no Na wa, any Ghibli film.
But people could recommend some.
Yes, please
for us,
do.
that
yeah,
would be great.
I would like live action Japanese films. I don't
Yeah,
watch.
we've got, I suppose, a massive Korean bias, so
Yeah, we watch a lot of
we
Korean
watch
films.
so many Korean films and also series, but mostly films.
Yeah.
We haven't delved into Japanese film in the same way.
But Korean cinema is so good.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially Korean horror. But if you can recommend, if we can have some
Yeah.
Japanese live action film recommendations,
That would be really, really good.
that'd be awesome.
The next one is from Callum.
Ah, Callum. He's
He's-
another dear friend of ours.
Lives in
but
Scotland.
we haven't actually met him in person
No,
yet, but we want to.
sometimes.
Callum's also a freelance writer.
Yeah, and he blogs about books, and definitely check out Callum. Callum asked, which place have you travelled to that's been the biggest surprise in a good or
Snowy.
bad way?
Come here.
Yeah.
Romania and Bulgaria, both.
Last winter?
It was last
I don't even
winter.
know time anymore.
Yeah.
We,
The end of 2019.
Yeah, we spent the winter in Bulgaria and then Romania for about 5 or 6 weeks. Threw me off. Yeah,
So we went to Sofia for about 5 days.
We
or
weren't
something.
expecting anything. We were almost treating it. We went because the flight was cheaper to go to Sofia than straight to Bucharest. So that's what
Yeah.
happened. And it was perfect. I'd actually
Sofia's
love to
great.
spend more time there.
Sofia's a great city.
Really artistic, a lot of really good restaurants.
Yeah. You know, the whole post-communist, brutalist architecture stuff, at first you see pictures of it and you go, wow, this is an ugly city. It's an ugly city that's full of life and art and vibrancy.
Really, really cool city.
Wonderful
I
people.
would live there
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
bit.
yeah. Sofia's great.
And then we went to Bucharest, and Romania was just a big surprise because the food was amazing.
Romanian food.
The countryside was just incredible, and
Oh,
there's
yeah.
like Gothic castles everywhere.
Yeah,
and
Transylvania is amazing.
And some parts of the country still live in kind of almost a feudal farming kind of system. And
Yeah.
there's,
And you'll see, like, you
yeah.
have to drive your car around donkeys and
yeah,
carts.
yeah, horse and
stuff.
carts. So further you get out into the country, it becomes very, very rural in a way I haven't seen anywhere
Yeah.
else, especially not
furthest-
in Europe.
Yeah, you go away from a city and you're going back in time.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
really cool.
And then Bucharest is a really exciting city, so you really
Yeah.
have got this.
Oh, but Brasov was even better.
Yeah, Brasov in
Yeah.
Transylvania, the capital of Transylvania,
Yeah.
was everything you'd want vampire country to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was just perfect.
Like, actually, quite a lot of people from other European countries. Like, we talked to a tour guide there, and she said there are loads of French people, Italian people who just move to Brasov and just throw away all their worries because it's such a
Yeah.
chill city and
just
it's really cheap.
colourful, cheap.
And the Black Church was cool.
Yes, yeah. So big surprise.
Yeah, so Romania is a big surprise. Romania is awesome. Callum also asked, what is the best thing about Star Wars and why is it Carrie Fisher?
Oh, so Callum's obsession or love for Carrie Fisher is the most
Oh,
wholesome thing.
It's so
I love
wholesome.
it so much.
It's so heartwarming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please keep that up on Twitter. It's always lovely.
It's the best thing.
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher was an angel.
Yeah, she is the best thing about Star Wars. So I
Yeah.
don't know if we can expand on that.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. But if I do give my own take on what the best thing about Star Wars is, it's the visual and audio aesthetics of Star Wars is what I love. The animal design, the set, the worlds, it's the world. It's the world of Star Wars. The aesthetics of it is so unique because Star Wars isn't sci-fi, it's fantasy. It's fantasy set in space, and the fantasy of it, the animals and the lightsabers and the costumes and the guns and the ships, and for me it's the aesthetics that I love about Star Wars. It's so beautiful and there's nothing that looks like it.
I kind of fell in love with the newer films, and I've kind of worked my way back because I certainly wasn't a Star Wars fan in the way I am now until these new films.
So
even though
Adam Driver is what you're saying.
yeah, probably. Adam
Adam
Driver.
Driver.
It was Adam Driver. Yeah. Unfortunately, The Rise of Skywalker wasn't great, which is a real sad end to a trilogy that brought me in.
Yeah.
But then I've worked my way back and become a Star Wars kind of obsessive retroactively. Yeah.
I just enjoy living in the world
It's a
of Star
great,
Wars.
fun world.
Yeah.
And I feel like,
So
and The
vibrant.
Mandalorian really kind of emphasizes that fun world
Yeah.
that you can just get lost in. But ultimately, Carrie Fisher. So
Yeah, so it's
Thank
still
you,
Carrie
Callum.
Fisher.
Yeah.
Obviously. Sorry, Callum. It is. Tom is the next one.
Oh, Tom.
So Tom is my best friend. Hi, Tom. Tom and I met at uni, and he's been my best friend ever since. So it's been about 12, 13 years. I'm old. And Tom asked, what's your favourite sea shanty? I think Tom asked this as a joke, and I'm going to answer sincerely and say it's that one. What do you do? What can we do with the
Drunken Sailor.
The Drunken Sailor one. Because it's purely for the melody and also the fact that they say Early. And I like the way they say Early. There's your answer. Tom also asked, what book has the best new book smell? The answer is comics.
Oh, yeah. I think graphic novels as well and
Yeah.
comics, they
have a better smell.
They have a better smell. Yeah.
Sorry, new book smell isn't all that.
Yeah.
New graphic novel smell is better.
Yeah, like I had On a Sunbeam by Tilly Walden for my birthday this year, and it smelled so good. I was smelling it for like 5 minutes. The ink was there was so much ink in it. There were these full panels. And,
I think it's the paper. They use this, it smells like Crayola. When you're a kid and you smell Crayola
it smells
crayons.
Like crayons, yeah.
It's that same texture and the same smell. I love that smell. So we've also been playing a lot of Hades recently, and Tom asked...
If you haven't been, even if you don't play games, just have a go at Hades. It's
just get a Switch.
So good
Hades.
for like stress relief right now.
So Tom asked, Megara or Artemis? If you've played Hades, or if you know your Greek mythology, obviously you know who these people are.
And in the game, Megara has this beautiful, sexy, deep voice.
The thing about Hades is that it takes every Greek god and hero
and makes them really attractive.
They're sexy as fuck, every one of them.
And then Artemis has great thighs. So
she has great thighs. She has great
thighs. So I
thighs.
claimed Artemis for my girlfriend immediately, and Will has been trying to steal her.
No, I haven't. I claimed her.
I feel like Megara would suit you anyway.
Yeah, Megara would suit me, but I picked Artemis.
Well, you can't.
Okay,
like,
well, if Megara comes for
betrothed.
me, if she lassos me and takes me away, I'm not going to say no.
No, I mean, I wouldn't either.
Yeah, they're the sexiest people.
Yeah.
I think I picked Dionysus anyway.
Oh, okay.
My wine boyfriend.
Excellent. Keep away from Artemis.
Yeah. Or Zagreus.
Oh, he's
I would
lovely.
legit just date Zagreus. He's such an emo. Such a sad emo boy. I love him. Thanatos. Yeah. Thanatos is sexy as fuck. Jesus Christ.
This could be like a thirst video.
Yeah, no, just us thirsting after drawings of Greek mythology. All right, so there you go, Tom.
Ashley is our friend from Twitter.
And we do Shakespeare together on the weekend.
Ashley's first question is, if theme music were to play every time you entered a room, what do you think it would sound like? I mean, I feel like I've got like a distinctive theme tune playing whenever I go around. Like, maybe it would be like free jazz.
Oh my god, yeah, a little bit chaotic.
A little bit chaotic.
A little bit weird.
Very disjointed, kind of going like up and down like this, like sometimes calm, sometimes like kind of crazy. Yeah, I'm a very chaotic person to be around.
Yeah, because I have anxiety and I walk around in a cloud of anxiety, I'm going to say just black metal constantly.
It does actually sum up your moods.
Just the soundtrack of someone walking through a snow-covered forest. Also
Brilliant.
because black metal is my favourite genre and I want it to be playing all the time.
Ashley also asked, if you could be instantly fluent in one language for reading or travel purposes, what would it be?
So I've been studying Japanese forever, so I would like it to just tick that off properly.
Yeah, and then you could read all the books in the original language, which would be awesome.
Yeah. But I also kind of have enjoyed the fact that I think I will spend the next lifetime studying Japanese slowly, so maybe I should tick off Mandarin.
I was actually going to say Mandarin.
Yeah?
Oh, I'd love...
It'd be so easy to just go, okay, Mandarin's done.
God, I would love to speak Mandarin.
Yeah.
It would. I just feel like it's so useful. It's so beautiful. I love the way it sounds.
And Mandarin's harder to learn to read because there are more characters.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. That it would be Mandarin.
Mandarin, yeah.
The world has completely fallen to shit, and you're inexplicably forced to become American citizens.
Oh no.
Condolences. What state do you settle in and why?
I have a great answer for this.
Go on.
I
reckon mine will be the same.
Yeah? So I would settle in New York State for two reasons. One, New York City is probably my favourite city in the world. I think it's a lot of people's favourite city. And two, we actually lived in New York for about 2 months at the start of 2019.
It was like our first house sit abroad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was about 2 months in the Hudson Valley in a town called Rosendale. And it is, to this day, the happiest I've ever been in a place.
I do agree. It was so charming.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I think about it all the time.
It was covered in snow, and there was this community spirit like you'd see in something like Gilmore Girls, in Stars Hollow.
It felt like Gilmore Girls.
It did feel like Gilmore Girls. The cinema was this old retro cinema, and the buildings were these old retro buildings.
It was gorgeous.
But there was also a lot of like hipster stuff going on.
Yeah, there was like a candle maker and stuff.
Yeah, and just great cafes. And...
It was the perfect part of the world. It was my favourite part of the world is the Hudson Valley
and
in
like
New York.
we're driving around and every view is incredible.
Thank you, Ashley.
Yes.
Next question is from Jill. Jill is a lovely Canadian lady who runs a YouTube channel called The Book Bully.
Oh, yeah.
Your most memorable moment on a travel adventure?
There's been two that jump to mind. One of them we probably share, which was going up the Great Wall of China.
Great Wall.
Yeah, I do think standing on that much history with that kind of view around you and kind of the effort it takes to get up there to that point.
Yeah, it takes a lot. And we went in minus 15 degrees.
And I was wearing Converse.
Yeah.
Like, my feet were dropping
We had
off.
3 pairs of socks
So
on.
stupid.
I don't know what a minus 15 is in American. You'll have to.
It was
you have
very
to Google
cold.
that. But it was very cold.
Yeah, just a lot of these kind of grand places can be a bit of a letdown. Like, for example, the pyramids. Like, I went a few times as a child. They don't really live up to that grandeur in your mind. And maybe they do, but not for me, they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But the Great Wall of China was as good as you would imagine.
Yeah, it's probably it's better than
better
it's better
even.
than what you think.
Yeah,
There's nothing like
and the
Great
Forbidden
Wall.
City as well. I do think all of that was
Beijing is great.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
the second one for me was Cappadocia in Turkey. It was the first trip I took by myself, and it looks like Mars. Like, they were going to use it as the setting for The Force Awakens, but I think they ended up filming in Tunisia. It just looks like Mars, and just hiking through somewhere that looks like another planet, it was one of those moments I was very present, and I was like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
I probably won't see anything like this again.
I do have one that I've been to that you haven't.
Ooh.
I've been to the top of Mount Fuji.
You have, yeah.
So I would say that. The views from Mount Fuji are the best views I've seen. Like, they were better than the Great Wall, honestly. There's nothing like the view from the top of Mount Fuji. It is astonishing. That and the Great Wall. But we definitely agree on the Great Wall.
These are all very high places.
Yeah,
I
very
guess
high
maybe
places.
like
Mountainous places.
I guess when you have like epic views and
Yeah.
you're on an epic place,
Yeah.
then you're gonna remember it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're the most famous places. So yeah, but the Great Wall, I'll always be proud that we went up the Great Wall.
Me too.
In minus 15 degrees in
Yeah.
January in the snow. And we saw a really fat orange cat on the
Yeah,
wall.
a ginger cat.
Yeah, massive.
On the wall.
Yeah, really fat. I don't know where it was getting fed.
And like, it was a long walk up.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, cat, you did well.
Oh, and there's a guy. There was an old man who, the Great Wall goes up and down and up and down, and it has these kind of, what are they called, fortification bits. And I was climbing up, and you basically had to climb up on your hands, even though it was like stone steps. They're so steep. I was amazed. I pulled myself up, and what I saw was a 50-ish-year-old Chinese man with a table with loads of like fridge magnets and stuff for sale. And I was like, what are you doing
So he
here?
scrambled up that bit.
And
to
he does
sell
that every day.
magnets. Wow.
Every day he scrambles up there with a table and some
And you were
tat.
like making like, a big
And
fuss about it.
And he was just there, like, would you
Amazing.
like to buy a magnet? And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? And there was no one there. It was cold. It was empty. The Great Wall is always packed with tourists, and we managed to go
Yeah.
when it was empty. It was us and a very, very sexy French model that we happened to meet on the wall.
Yeah.
And it was this guy, and he was just there. So that was quite a memorable moment.
Our friend Rachel.
Yeah.
So she said, which of you is taller and why is it Abby? So our other friend Abby likes to be the tallest in the room. And I think she is.
Abby is the tallest.
Yeah, which
Abby's
is
taller than us.
unfortunate.
So if you wanted it on
For us.
record that Abby is taller than us, Rachel, you got it.
Yeah,
This is it.
This is what she's
This is it. But
Between
which of us is taller?
Which is always a bit of a point. I think we're the same
No,
height.
I want you to say it.
I think we're the same
No,
height. I
we're
just
not.
said it.
No, we're not. Okay, I'm like a centimeter taller than
It is
you.
not a lot.
It is
Not
no,
in
it is.
shoes.
It is a centimeter. I am taller.
Yeah.
I am taller. I wear heels as well, so
I feel like I grow.
you don't
Yeah.
grow.
Anyway, if it is anything, it's so minute. We have the
Yes.
same height.
It is.
Yeah.
It is minute, but it's there.
We're both 5'9", and you have like a little bit.
I'm
on
5'9" and a half.
Not half.
Yeah, but we're both within 5'9". But I am taller. I am taller.
Just a bit.
Yeah, a little bit taller.
And then, anyway, Rachel also asked, who's your favourite Shakespeare character that you've played?
You were really excited to play the nurse in Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, that was really fun.
And I was
do think-
Juliet.
yeah, so we got to banter off each other really
Yeah.
well, which was actually really fun.
That was fun.
I think it was the nurse.
That was a
yeah,
memorable
for that reason.
moment.
Yeah. How
For
about
me,
you?
I would say it was Macbeth, which was my first one. We
Oh,
joined Project
yeah.
Shakespeare, and I immediately had to be Macbeth, and I did a terrible Scottish accent all the way through.
Didn't Callum come for you?
Callum came for me for that, yeah. And that was totally fair. Yeah, I think Macbeth. Macbeth was my dream character to play, and I got to do it straight off the bat. And now it's been almost a year, and I want to do it again. But I think we're doing it again, and I'm going to be Lady Macbeth, so I'm excited for that.
How many cats is your ideal number of cats to house sit at one time? That is a great question. Yeah, I guess everyone knows that we house sit, right? So
Probably,
we
yeah.
look after people's pets and people's houses, and that's how we travel affordably.
Yeah,
we
are
don't
digital
pay
nomads.
rent. Yeah.
Well, this is not our house.
Occasionally there'll be a small gap and we will pay for an Airbnb, but that really doesn't happen often. We usually now get to the point we're invited back to sit, so we're booked up most of the year.
Yeah, like
in
we mentioned
advance.
earlier, we went to The Hague. That's because that was a repeat sit. Those people are our
Yeah.
friends, and we sit for them in the summers.
Yes.
And The Hague is amazing.
Yeah, especially if we're in the States or Europe, it's because we've got a house sit.
These are our books, though.
Yes, these are our books.
We hoard books and
Yeah.
then have to sell them.
You sell them or give them away.
Yeah.
How do you deal them out of cats? And the more cats you have, the more fights there are. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say 2.
I think 2 because one cat will usually hate you. So it gives a chance for one cat to like you.
We actually have a cat
Yeah.
who we adopted in China.
Yes,
she was she was a street cat, and we just scooped her up and took her home, and now she lives with my parents. And she hates us. She hates everyone.
Yeah,
We saved her life, and she hates us for it. So
well, we didn't ask her to be grateful.
no, we didn't. Yeah, she's like, I didn't ask to be born.
Little brat. So 2 cats.
Yeah, 2 is good.
Oh, Julia coming with the hard questions. Julia is our friend from Tokyo who we met out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then now Julia and her partner Arthur, who is a translator, now live back in the UK. So we got to see them.
House.
Yeah, they just bought a house.
Millennials with a house.
And she asked, do you see yourself settling down long term in any of the countries you visited or lived in, or settling down anywhere rather than just keep travelling forever?
This is the big question.
This is the question that we personally come back to ourselves a lot.
Yeah, we talk about this a lot. We often think we should get some sort of a home base to travel from, but then that costs a lot of money, and we don't have that much money.
Yeah.
So it's
And
tough.
also choosing where that would be impossible.
Yes. Yeah.
We do slightly differ on this question.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is tough because we're a couple and we have to agree. So that's what makes it so hard. And that's kind of why we keep traveling until one of us eventually agrees with the other one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, eventually we will settle down in Hokkaido. It just might be when we're 60. I will say for sure, we can both agree that it won't be England.
Yeah.
If it was in the UK, it would be Scotland.
Yes.
Before Scotland separates and we can rejoin the EU, thank you, Nicola Sturgeon.
Obviously, UK is home to some extent, but I actually mentally don't think of UK as my home at all.
No.
Because I feel a lot more comfortable in other countries.
Yeah.
A lot of other countries before the UK, even though there are things I love about the UK. I am very happy to keep travelling.
You are a true nomad.
I really am.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a hassle for me to live in the way we do. I thrive on it.
So your honest answer is probably no.
Yeah, my answer is no, but you also can't know how you'll feel in 20 years' time. Like, my knees are getting rickety already. Like, I might not want to travel.
We've only been doing this for 2 years. You know, and one of those years we ended up locking down in other people's houses, so it's been weird. We say we've been doing it for 2 years. We've been digital nomads for 2 years.
Yeah.
We've been living abroad for like 6 years.
Yes, yeah.
7 maybe. So
Most of our 20s we've been abroad, but only the last 2 years it's been like kind of rapid.
we're traveling.
Yeah, traveling.
Constantly on the road.
And that is more tiring than just living abroad, for sure.
Yeah, but my answer would be Japan.
Japan eventually.
Yeah,
I feel like saying like inshallah, like God willing, but visa willing, because like you can't really settle anywhere without a visa, and like who's gonna? I mean, if Japan offered us a visa right now and was like, you know, you can just come live here, I would.
Yeah.
I would still travel from there, but I would take it.
Yeah, whenever we live in Japan, we have to get like jobs, proper jobs.
Yeah, and I'm at the point where I'm not willing to sacrifice being self-employed to get a visa for a country.
Yeah, if Japan will give us a freelancer visa, self-employed visa, whatever that is, if anyone knows anything about that, send me a message.
Yeah.
But the closest country that I have to a home is Japan. The question is frustrating, and trying to find the answer is even harder.
It's the most impossible question for us.
Yeah.
So
for
well
now,
done, Julia.
Yeah, thanks, Julia.
But like no, in terms of like I guess what some people might call settling down, I don't think that's in my nature. We don't want kids. We don't want a mortgage. We don't want any of that.
No.
And that is definite. Like, neither of us want those things.
No,
So I think we're agreed there.
There's people who homebodies and they like where they are. There's you are a true nomad. And I fall somewhere in the middle. I like the idea of having a home base that I can then travel from. But that obviously costs a lot more money. So it's better to just kind of follow Jess around. So tough question, Julia. Thanks.
And it's a good follow-up question to this.
So Amelia and I have chatted about how disinterested I am in the UK these days for various reasons. And she said, surely there is something you like about it.
I've always really loved the UK up until this Brexit stuff started, and now I almost feel like it's a country that's kind of betrayed me, and I really can't get past that. Like, I still love everything I loved, but I feel a stronger separation than I've ever had because of that.
Yeah.
But
I love our sense of humour.
Yeah.
I love the British sense of
like
humour.
the art.
British comedy's the best.
Yeah, the art scene is awesome.
It's the history and the art is what I love about you go to a place like Bath or York and these places are gorgeous, and I love London to pieces. I think London, I just said before, New York is my favourite city, but my favourite city is also Tokyo, and it's also London. Yeah. I love London to pieces.
London, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like Brexit. I don't like Brexit, and I don't like Tories.
There's been a lot of division that's been deliberately fostered, and you can feel it, and that's a real shame, because it it does make a place that is good in so many ways feel a bit not very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Uninviting, unwelcoming. And,
Yeah.
I would say the things that tourists come here for are what I like. So
Yes.
art, architecture, history, and pretty countryside.
Yeah.
Those things.
Yeah.
Those
And
things
they
are
they are
great.
abundant. They
Yeah.
really are. Our friend Abby, her first question was, if you could slap one character from Shakespeare, who would it be and why? I have two.
Do you?
I do, straight off the
I
bat.
don't have any. I'm trying
I
to think.
think like a slap just for being moany would be Hamlet. I'd be like, come on, Hamlet, get a grip.
Yeah,
Just
I
like one
like
of
that.
those,
Yeah.
slap and go.
Stop that. Yeah.
And I think
and all the nunnery stuff.
I would also slap King Lear when Cordelia is like, I love you. And he's like, yeah, but how much? You need I want lots of love, not just that. And she's like, no, I love you as much as like my contract says, as much as a daughter should love a father. And he's like, no, it's not good enough. And he gives her nothing and sends her off. Big slap energy. Big slap. Like, what the hell? Not everyone is very good at expressing their feelings in that way. And I think she did a good job. And he should be all right with that. So,
Oh,
big slap.
I'm glad you had to. I actually couldn't. I didn't have any until I thought about Helena in A Midsummer Night's Dream. Now, I love Helena. Playing Helena is a lot of fun. Playing that whiny creature. But Helena needs to be slapped. Helena needs to stop pining. She needs to grow a backbone, and she needs to just calm down and maybe enjoy a bit of self-love and self-respect. But she's really fun, so I'd still slap her though.
Which of your tattoos is your favourite on yourself and on each other?
We never talk about tattoos.
We don't. We love tattoos and we both have quite a lot. So on you, I think my favourite is the Pokins bird.
Oh, my bird. Yeah, I call him Pokins because he looks like Dickens and Poe. So he's a cool bird. Bird in a waistcoat and top hat. Yeah, what's your favourite of yours?
Oh, my favourite on me. It's quite big, so I can't really show it. But I've got
I'll put up a picture of it
yeah,
here.
Princess Mononoke
It's a totem pole
totem pole of down my calf.
of
which
all the
is-
characters. You'll
yeah.
see the picture here. It's
Yeah.
here now.
That's probably my favourite.
That's actually my favourite of yours as
It's
well.
very cool.
Yeah.
It was done by
It was done by Ali at
High Water Gallery in Swansea.
Ali is the most wonderful
She's
person.
so lovely. So do check her out.
She's never
Yeah.
tattooed me, actually. She's tattooed
No
you.
way.
So that's my favourite of yours, and it's your favourite of yours.
Yes.
Yeah. My favourite of mine is either this lantern, here, which is a terrible way to do it. It's inspired by Bloodborne, one of my favourite video games. So it's a lantern with like some purple smoke. Or this one, which is one I got years ago, which is a Biffy Clyro lyric that says, "Our fables take us everywhere," which I absolutely adore. So those two are my favourite of mine.
Would you rather be forced to wear assless chaps or clown makeup every day for the rest of your life?
I told Abby that I have a good
Abby.
answer for this, and I really do. I have a great answer for this, and I'm not going to worm my way out of it with a loophole, silly loophole.
Assless chaps.
I pick
or
assless
clown makeup.
chaps.
You would.
Yeah, and that's because if I wore clown makeup, people would think I was one of those weird people that likes the Joker.
I feel like we do have nice butts. So we
You
look
do.
okay in assless chaps.
And Jess has a fantastic behind. I do not. Mine's a bit jiggly. But I would still do it. I would
Yeah,
still
no,
wear assless
absolutely.
chaps.
Like, who
If the
cares?
alternative is people think I'm some sort of Joker fanatic.
Yeah, I think like I would also pick the assless chaps because
You have a nice bottom.
no, not even that. I like wearing makeup and playing with it, and if I could only put the same makeup on every day, which is my clown makeup, I wouldn't get to experiment with different eyeshadows.
All right, next question comes from Resh. Resh is at the Book Satchel, which is a fantastic blog on literature. Please go check it out. Resh is amazing.
And if you follow her on Twitter, you get great food shots.
Yes.
She cooks a lot, and
Yeah.
it makes me very happy.
Yeah, Resh has asked us 3 questions, and the first one is, out of the two of us, who is the most short-tempered?
Lol.
Now, I immediately thought me because I have severe anger issues. But
Because of
anger...
anxiety.
Yeah, it's because of
Yeah.
I have anxiety and anger issues, but I don't think anger and being short-tempered are the same thing.
Yeah, in terms of actually short-tempered constantly, it's me.
It is,
Like
it's
I
Jess, yeah.
speak in snaps most
Yeah.
of the time.
Yeah.
I don't know I'm snapping. I'm snapping so much.
It's all I hear.
I'm just snapping.
Yeah, help.
I think because I'm so in my head all the time. So if someone does speak to me, I will probably snap at you, and I don't mean to.
This is my cry for help.
I try not to do it when I'm out and about socializing. And try,
You have occasionally.
And I try and keep it the moment, but I do struggle. So
Yeah.
we're short-tempered in different ways. When you're angry, you are angry.
Oh, yeah.
And I
yeah.
never get angry in the same way.
Yeah.
But I am snappy McSnapface.
Yeah. I say a thing, you snap.
Yes.
And rinse and repeat. That's our life. There's a little insight into our life. Resh's second question is, which TV show do you love? It was
Yeah,
really
it's like
enjoyable.
a ridiculously enjoyable one.
Yeah, recently.
Recently was Umbrella Academy. That was so much fun. Like
Yeah.
I had my sister recommended it, and I had like no expectations, and
Well, I read the comic.
Yeah,
I read the first
yeah.
volume. Gerard Way wrote the comic.
but it was so good. I was even having like dreams about it. I was dreaming about Vanya for like 3 nights after we finished that series. It was so much fun. It's just fun.
It is intense fun. For me, right now, I'm watching Hunter x Hunter, the anime, the 2011 anime. I've watched anime my whole life. I'm a big anime fan. But I sometimes feel like I watch anime kind of out of habit. Like, I watch anime, therefore I will watch whatever's coming out this season. And I finally gave Hunter x Hunter a shot, and I haven't felt this way about an anime since I was a kid watching Dragon Ball Z. Hunter x Hunter has taken all of my attention this last week. I am destroying.
He is obsessed.
Yeah.
Like every time I try and find him, he's watching Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, I'll just be hiding in a corner watching Hunter x Hunter on Crunchyroll. I am utterly addicted to Hunter x Hunter. It's incredible. Resh's third question is, share 2 underrated books that you love. All right, so I can only think of one, and that is a series of 4 books by Chris Wooding. He's one of my favourite fantasy authors. It's called The Tales of the Ketty J. There are 4 books in the series, and people never seem to talk about them. Our friend Rick also likes them, and that's the only person I've ever met who has actually read the Ketty J books. They are incredible. I need to do a whole video about them, but I haven't read them in so long I can't actually remember them that well. But they are...
Like steampunky.
It's, yeah. If you've ever watched Firefly and Serenity, it feels like that. It's steampunk, it's kind of Star Warsy. And I remember Rick talking about them, saying that like they feel like action films on paper. It's amazing how he's managed to do it. And yeah, I love the Ketty J books, and no one ever reads them.
Yeah, it's a tough one for me, but I was thinking about it, and I'm gonna go for a book that I wouldn't normally pick up, but I loved it years ago. It's called The Lost Art of Keeping Secrets. I can't remember who wrote it, but
I have not read it.
I guess you could describe it as quite twee, but it's very charming. It's kind of a coming of age story, which is not the kind of thing I do read, but it's set in the 60s, and it's just very lovely. It's very lighthearted, and it is underrated. I don't really know anyone else who's read it.
Yeah,
Thank you,
good shout.
Resh.
Yeah, thanks, Resh. That was a great question. Anita asked, when you go to a new place, do you read books set in that place or about that place before you go? And we actually have a series of articles on our website called Books to Read Before You Go to Blah Blah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do.
We do. I wouldn't say we always 100% of the time do it. If we're going to be in a place for a while, definitely.
Yeah.
If we're just passing through,
Probably
maybe not.
We might have already.
Yeah,
depending
which
on
is what
where it
sparked our
is.
interest in the first place.
Yeah. Like before we went to Taiwan, I'd read some Taiwanese books.
Yeah, and read about the history and stuff.
Yeah.
I do think it really helps just going in with a bit of background knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty
for
much
anywhere.
the influence for our entire website was reading literature and history books about a place.
Before you go, or if you can't go, to get to know it a
Yeah,
little
armchair
bit.
travel.
Armchair travel, yeah.
Do you know something that spurred me on to do it was when we lived in China, I felt a bit ignorant. I felt a bit stupid. I learned more living in Shanghai for a year than I did at school.
Yeah,
Full stop.
definitely.
One thing that I regret is after we left China, I read Zheng Chang's Wild Swans, which is still one of my favourite books. It transformed the way that I saw Chinese history and culture, Chinese politics especially. I wish I'd read that book before I went to China. And so now I urge everyone to read that and other books before they go to China and not make the mistake I made. Oh, our friend Jessica, she's asked the question, what are your favourite comics? This is another thing we don't really talk about very much.
Yeah.
Is that we are big comics readers. You read a lot of graphic memoir.
Yeah, I do, like in the vein of like Alison Bechdel's Fun Home and those kind of ones. I tend to gravitate towards things like Fun Home or Tilly Walden's Spinning. That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like seeing people's memoirs drawn rather than reading them.
Yeah,
So-
there's something magical about that.
Yeah, it brings it to life.
Because it's like they're drawing themselves into life in an interesting way. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Fun Home is one of my favourite books, full stop.
Yes,
I love
agreed,
it. Love
agreed.
Alison Bechdel's wonderful. But I can't do favourite comics. I will do favourite comic writers.
Yeah, that'll be tough for you, I think.
Yeah, I can't pick. Especially just before we met, I had a house full of comics. Like, I read more comics than books.
When I met you, it was your defining feature.
Yeah, I was a comic
The
book
guy
fanatic.
who read comics, yeah.
Yeah, and
like,
I would go on weird tangents.
yeah,
about
you had like
comics.
encyclopedic knowledge of like dates and writers and artists,
Yeah.
and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I couldn't talk about a character or a comic without saying like the year it was published, the writer, the artist,
and everything that led up to it.
Yeah, it was encyclopedic behaviour. My passion for comics at one point was so all-consuming.
Yeah.
But my 2 favourite comic book writers are Grant Morrison and Jeff Lemire. If they've written them, I've either read them or I want to. Actually, no. I can name a favourite comic ever, and that would be Black Hammer by Jeff Lemire. I can't even remember who drew it. It's been so long since I read it, so sorry, I can't remember the artist. But I would say Black Hammer is probably the best comic I've read. But Jeff Lemire and Grant Morrison are my favourite comic book writers. All right, we're going to end this with some questions from our friend Rick.
Yeah.
Rick McDonnell is a dear friend of ours based in Canada who has his own YouTube channel. Hi, Rick. Rick is a dear, dear friend of ours. We love him to pieces. We haven't actually met him in real life, and I hope this is the year that we get to, that we can, travel to Edmonton and see him.
Yeah.
But Rick is
Never
amazing.
thought I'd go to Edmonton, but now
No, I
Rick's
know,
there,
yeah.
so-
Never had an interest in it. Sorry, Rick. No offense, Rick.
Describe a specific experience you had while traveling that changed you as a person. I think that comes back to the China thing. I don't think we'd be the people we are today doing what we do without that year in China. And also just not as intelligent. I really feel like I was quite
I'm not
naive.
the smartest person anyway.
I know, I'm not saying we're like all that, but like I was quite naive going to China, specifically about world history and world politics. We learnt a lot.
Yeah, we
from
really
there.
did. Yeah.
And it made us take an interest in those subjects going forward, not just,
So
from
this
China.
isn't specifically one travel experience. This was a year of living and working in a place.
Yeah,
but
but I mean,
it changed everything.
Yeah, and also one travel experience I think is from being robbed so many times. I'm a bit more careful now.
Fuck
So
Brussels.
I'm like,
I hate Brussels.
like they're probably like strapping my shit to me now.
Yeah,
after that, so
definitely learned your lesson there. But China, living in China changed everything. It changed us
Yeah.
as people. It changed the way that we see the world. It made us very political beings as well.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been somewhere since where I've learned so much.
Food, culture,
Yeah.
history, art, politics, everything, language, architecture. It was endless, the
I
things
think
we
it
learned.
was just the time when we went. We were 24.
24, 25,
Yeah, and it was just, it was fresh out of uni basically. So it was just very formative. What's one thing the other person has taught you about love, and one thing they've taught you about sadness? Oh, Rick, you're such a lovely boy.
Such a good question. So I think this is the only question about us specifically as a couple.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun.
Yeah,
And this is
yeah.
where we'll end. This is our last question.
No, there's one more.
Is it?
Oh no, there's the last question. Sorry. Rick.
Do you know, this is a weird one. This is a weird answer. But after that year in China, Jess and I actually broke up for a few months. And we went and did other things individually. And I had always struggled my entire life with being alone. I liked having people around me. And when we broke up, I had to deal with being alone and being good in my own company and enjoying myself, enjoying my company, because I never used to like myself very much. And I grew to just enjoy my solitude, enjoy my own company, enjoy doing things by myself. And so that was something I learned from breaking up.
Yeah.
Which is a weird answer, but it's something I think about quite a lot.
Yeah,
if we hadn't
but
done
it
that,
made you a healthier person coming back in.
because then, we went back into our relationship. We've been together now like 5 more years since that breakup. But I went back in like I was Will 2.0. You know, our relationship, our second relationship, if you like, was so much stronger because I
much
learned.
healthier, yeah.
And I only learned that from you. And I didn't just learn it because we broke up. I learned it because you are very good at being by yourself.
Yeah.
Jess is so independent. You don't need me.
No.
You know, you're in this relationship. Jess is doing me a favour by being in this relationship.
I think because I choose to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You don't need me.
I've always been very comfortable alone. It's my happiest space apart from with Will. Like I do struggle being around people for extended periods of time.
And I learned that from Jess. I learned I was like, oh, you can enjoy being alone. You can enjoy being by yourself. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then when I was forced to, I did it. I did it. And I understood what you were teaching me. I understood that. And I'm really grateful
It's a
for
very
that.
good lesson. I think with sadness is a good one because I'm not an emotional person. I come from a family where showing emotions is not very welcome. And so I've never really been good at expressing my thoughts and feelings at all.
Jess is stoic.
Stoic.
That's the best word.
Yeah, and
you are very stoic.
And I'm very happy to be stoic in a lot of ways because I think it is helpful to kind of separate emotion from a lot of things. I can be very kind of clinical when I look at something, but I think you've been very good at teaching me that it's okay to be sad and it's okay to say that you're sad or you're angry or maybe you're annoying me and I can just tell you, and that's not something I would ever do.
I wear my
before.
heart on my sleeve, and I think I've taught you to do the same a little bit.
Which is very healthy because keeping it all in is not healthy.
All right, so there you go, Rick. There you go, everyone.
Yeah, we'll leave it there.
Learned about love and sadness together, which is good. That was a great question.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun.
We really enjoyed this. Yeah.
So now you got to learn a little bit more about the people behind Books and Bow. So I've been Books.
I've been Bow. Okay, so we're doing that.
Didn't plan that. That didn't work at all. All right, subscribe to our channel and visit our website. That's where all of our writing is.
Yeah.
And support us if you fancy it. Cheers.
Goodbye.
And subscribe for books and travel and bow.
Yay, food.
All right, bye.